Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we are going to be making this adorable little angel. Now I'm not going to make it all sparkly like this. I'm just going to do an off-white color, but I am going to do the wings. I'm going to put the sparklies around the wings, so they're just going to match the dress. So I'm going to do the dress in pink, the wings will be white, and then the outside will be a pink sparkly. And I'm going to do black hair, not brown hair, but we can go through all that. So we're making a little angel today. Let's get started. So I'm going to be using a 5mm hook. I'm going to use this color for the body, which probably isn't very helpful. Just an off-white color. I'm going to be using this color for the dress. And we can get started. And we're going to start with your favorite magic circle. So it gets easier and easier every time we do it. I'm going to turn this lighting down. Hopefully you can see the white better. Seems a little dark. So you're going to put 8 single crochets inside the magic circle. Pull that. You don't have to pull this tight yet, because I know that the first stitch is always excuse me, the first stitch is always so difficult to get into. I like to just take something and manipulate it a little bit. So we're going to be working in a spiral, which means you're going to need a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a barrette, you can use a bobby pin, you can use a piece of yarn that's a different color. What else? There's paper clip. I'm just going to use my stitch marker. You can buy these at Walmart or at Michael's for like a whole pack of a bunch of different sizes for like $4. So they're fairly cheap, and they're so pretty cool to use because they're so quick and easy to use to just do them up. And so you've got 8 single crochets in your first round, and it's going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So after your first one, you're going to put your stitch marker, and then you're going to put your second one in the same space. So you're going to go all the way around, 2 in each stitch, for a total of 16. And 16, you can pull your tail closed now. So we're going to start an increase sequence. So your first increase sequence is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So there's our 1 single crochet. Our increase is 2 single crochets in the same space. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, all the way around. You should have a total of 24 when you're done. You should end off your sequence at your marker. If you haven't, then you've done something wrong. So your next sequence, I was going to put that in my mouth and then try to talk. So your next increase sequence is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, then your increase. So there's 1 single crochet. In the next stitch you get another 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch is your increase, which is 2. So 1 1 2 1 1 and 2 in this stitch all the way around, and you should have a total of 32 when you're done. So next round is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around for 32 stitches. So if you've dropped or added a stitch, this is the round to either take it away or add more. So I was short 1, so this stitch here I just put 2 stitches in. That brings it to 32 stitches altogether. So now another increase row. You're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase. So there's number 1. 2 and 3 single crochets. And then your increase, so 2 in this space. And then your increase. So you're going to do that all the way around, and you should have 40 stitches at the end of it. So your next round you're going to have 1 single crochet each stitch, which should be 40. So again, if you need to correct anything, this is going to be the round to do it. So you should have 40. So our last increase is going to be 4 single crochets and then your increase. So that's our 1, That's 4 single crochets and then 2 in this stitch. All the way around. So if you've ended off at your stitch marker with your sequence, odds are you've done everything right. So from here up, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around for the next 8 rows. And then we're going to change colors for the dress. So decide what color you want your dress and do your 8 rows, and I'll meet you right back here. Alright, I've got my 8 rows done, and it looks like a little beanie cap at this point. So we're going to change colors to whatever color you want for your dress. So I'm going to do pink. Now I generally just lay my color, my new color across. I'll go through the next stitch. I just lay my color over and I come back through. Try not to get all tangled. And then make a stitch. But if you're not comfortable with that, then you can make a slip knot and do it that way. So I'm going to carry the white and carry the pink tail for a bit just to weave it in, and all I'm going to do for the next 2 rows is 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and then we'll get into the decreasing after. So after you've got your couple of rows done, then I'll meet you back here. In the meantime, do your 1 in each hole, weaving in your tail and your white for probably about halfway around. I mean, you're going to run out of the pink tail eventually. Do your white about halfway around, and then you could probably cut that off. Eventually we're going to be going back to it, but you don't have to carry it through the entire project if you're not comfortable doing that, because I know how awkward it can be. So, but at least carry it a ways before you cut it off, and I will meet you back here after your 2 rows is done. Alright, so I've got my 2 rows done of straight 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So the next row is going to be a decrease row. So you're going to do 5 single crochets and then you're going to crochet 2 together. So let's do our first one. First stitch marker. So 5 single crochets, and then you're going to do 2 together. That's your decrease. And repeat 5 single crochets, and then 2 together. And you should end at your stitch marker. So your next row is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Reach that 40, and you're going to come back around. In your next row, your next row is going to be 4 single crochets and a decrease. So this is our first one. Four single crochets and a decrease. All the way around. So your next row is single crochet in each stitch around. So far this is what you got. Your next decrease row is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease. So your next row is 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you should have 30 stitches. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochet and 2 together. This is 1, 2, and a decrease. Okay, so we're going to do 1 single crochet around, and then we're going to switch colors to back to the skin color. I'm going to do these two together because my counts are off. I should have 18 all together. so I'm just gonna do an extra one because I had an extra one. So that's what it looks like right now. Okay, we're gonna put some stuffing in this before we continue. So I've got a great big ginormous box of stuffing. So pull this up so you don't get it all stuck. Try not to get it inside. So take your fingers and push around this out to the sides just to make sure you're getting this all nice and even. If you push on it and it doesn't bounce back all the way, you know you probably need, see, mine didn't bounce back all the way. So I need, see, I got a divot. I need a little bit more. I don't want to overfill it right now. We can shove some more in it as we go. But there's the dress part we still got to make on this, so I kind of want some decent fill in this part. Yeah, we can mess around later too with it, so we are going to switch colors again. Back to skin color. And then we're just going to single crochet in every stitch around. And then we can cut off the pink, and then after we go all the way around here, which shouldn't take long, we are going to make the dress with the pink. So we've come back full circle. You can put your stitch marker in there just so nothing falls out or comes undone. Pull your white up. Probably snip off your white tail and your pink if you still have a white tail. Keep your pink. So with the pink, let me just get unraveled a bit here. Oh, I was unraveled. There's a number of different ways we can do this dress. Here, let me show you first. This is the part we're doing right here. So, I started mine 2 rows up, but you can start right on the bottom row if you want. That gives you more of a dress. But I started mine the 2nd row from the bottom of the color. But I'm going to start right at the bottom of the color this time around. So again, there's a number of ways, well, there's a couple ways you can do this. Make a slip knot and then put your needle or hook through your post, then put your slip knot on it and pull through. But I'm just going to lay mine over, pull through, make a stitch. So let's go in and make an actual stitch, because all we did was attach it. So there's a stitch. We're just going to do 1 single crochet in each post all the way around to give us stitches to work with, to build this dress off of. Guess it helps if I'm actually on camera. Here, let me tilt this a bit. Sorry, I gotta pay more attention to my camera and where it's angled. So I'm just doing single crochets. So I have these stitches to work in when I'm building the dress. So I'm just going around each post in a straight line. But this is a bit of a spiral work, so you are going to have that moment where it's not going to exactly match up because we are working in the spiral. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be noticeable. Okay, so this wants to be a little bit above here, and that's okay. So I'm just going to drop down into this hole right below where I just was, and I'm going to put another post stitch, and then I'm going to go into this first one that I did, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. Now none of that's even going to be noticeable once the dress is done. Trying to set my other angel back down. So once you've come around and you've got your slip stitch, you're going to chain 2, we're going to increase on this row, this next row. So we're going to be doing double crochets, which is why I got you to chain 2. We're not working in a spiral anymore. So you're going to, in your first stitch, put a double crochet. The next stitch, put a double crochet. And then the next stitch, put 2 double crochets in the same space. So that's going to be our repeat all the way around. And I didn't write down how many stitches you would have at the end of this. When I designed this, I was more focused on just designing. I didn't write down my stitches, so it doesn't really matter because you can't screw this up. There's just no way you can screw this up, so it's all going to be just fine at the end of the day. Probably do this with Truly too and make it really cute, like a ballerina dress. Actually, maybe I'll do a video about a ballerina. So the last stitch should have 2 double crochets if you've done everything right. If you haven't, it's no big deal. If you've dropped a stitch or added a stitch or whatever, it's no big deal. Like I said, I don't even know how many stitches. I never even wrote it down. So you can slip stitch. So here's your first chain that you did. You can slip stitch right to the top of that first chain and chain 2. So it's up to you how long or how short you want this from here we're going to start building the head. So this is your upper body. So it's all up to you how long you want to actually make it. So our next round is going to be 3 double crochets and an increase. So we're increasing the same as what we do down here. So you can put, actually I'm going to put, oh, I don't need to put a stitch marker in. So put your first double crochet in your next stitch. That gets a double crochet and that gets a double crochet. So 3 of those. That's your first chain. And then 2 double crochets in your next stitch. So that's your repeat. Double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, 2 double crochets. So you can complete that and I'll meet you back here on the other side. Alright, so I'm just coming to my end and I got my 2 in there, and so I can do 1 and 1, and then I'm out of room, so I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that first stitch and I'm going to chain 2. So far that's your dress. And the next row is going to be 4 double crochets and then your increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 the next stitch. So that's your repeat all the way around. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets and then 2 in the same stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you right back on the other side. Alright, so I'm back around here on the other side, and I just gotta do my slip stitch. So slip stitch to the top of that first chain, chain 2, so you're gonna put a double crochet into that same stitch where you just put your chain. The next stitch is going to get a single crochet. So we're putting our scalloped edge on now. The next stitch is going to get 3 double crochets. All in the same stitch. The next stitch is going to get 1 single crochet. The next stitch is going to get 3 double crochets. Next stitch is going to get a single crochet, and the next stitch is going to get 3 double crochets. So that's what it's going to look like. So you can continue that all the way around. 1 single crochet, next stitch is 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you back around on the other side when we're done. So once you come back around, we initially only put 2 double crochets in there, so that the chain 2 that you did, then the 1 double crochet. So once we come back around, I've got my single crochet. I've got 1 stitch left, so I'm only going to put 1 double crochet into that last stitch, because when I join them, then these 2 and this one make 3 double crochets. So then it all works out even. And you can cast off, fasten off, cast off. I'm doing the wrong stuff. So once you fasten off, before we continue, I'm gonna just press down on that before you cut it. Then it'll pop back up and you won't see any of the extra piece. So this is our pretty dress now. So you're gonna have to water block this, obviously. You're gonna wanna, do some stuff with it afterwards, or you can just keep it like that. So, back to the white, back to the skin color. So we've got our marker in already because that's where we left off. So from this point on, we're going to start to build the head. We already have our 1 single crochet in here from what we did before. So our next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets into the next stitch. Then you repeat 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet all the way around. And you should end your repeat at your marker with 2 single crochets. So your next round is going to be an increase round as well. So that's our 1 single crochet. We're going to do another single crochet, then we're going to do our increase. So 1 1 2, that's your increase. That's your repeat. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Oops, make sure you get under both pieces of yarn. 2 single crochets. And again, you should end your repeat at your marker. So there's your first single crochet. That's 3 single crochets, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Repeat 1 2 3, increase all the way around. And again, you should end. That's your stitch marker. So far, that's what you should have. All right. So your next increase row is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. So I know it can be a little squishy in here, but you can pull your work apart. This will be our last increase row. So you're going to do 4 single crochets, counting that one, and then your increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets over 4 stitches and 2 in the next stitch, all the way around. So once you're done your very last increase row, your next 6 rows are going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around for the next 6 rows. So we're going to start decreasing. So our first decrease is going to be single crochet 5. So we'll put our first one in. Two. And then 2 together. That's our decrease all the way around. So your next round is going to be single crochet in 1 stitch around, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So your next round is going to be single crochet 4 and then 2 together. So I seem to have some extra stitches. I'm just going to put 3 single crochets in there, which means I'm 3 single crochets plus. So my next round I'm just going to take away some. So my next round is just going to be a straight up one single crochet. And then we can put some eyes and some stuffing in. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And I'm going to have to decrease 3 stitches because I've got extra somehow. So this is the round you're going to be able to fix. If you didn't end up at the marker with your sequence, then you know how many stitches that you have to fix. So right off the bat I'm going to do 2 together just because I know I got to do 3, so I can at least do 2 right there. And then I'll just continue with my 1 stitch around. So you can just go ahead and finish your one single crochet in each stitch around. I'll meet you back at the marker and we'll put some stuffing in and some eyes on, and then we'll finish the head and see what this guy is going to look like. Alright, so I've got my eyes, but first let's put a little bit of stuffing in. We gotta make sure that we're gonna get down, finish stuffing the body part too, like down into the neck, past the neck part where we didn't do. So we got quite a bit to stuff. So figure out where you want the front. I'll shove some eyes in somewhere. I'm gonna do brown eyes. So I would go the 3rd row, 1, 2, 3 down, and I think I went about 5 in between. I think we can go 6 with this guy. Stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 7, 6 or 7. It's up to you. It's hard to judge when the head's not closed yet, and we're not putting a nose for my other one. I just put a mouth, so it's all up to you. Keep in mind this is gonna all start getting pulled too, so I'm gonna move this back over here. I think it's about as close as I want my eyes, so I did 6 stitches. Put your backs on. Everything nice and safe. So we can finish filling after. We'll do our mouth after. So the next row round is going to be 3 single crochets and 2 together. And I can't finish my sequence, so I'm assuming my numbers are way off, which is fine. It does not matter, nobody will notice. So you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And I'll meet you back on the other side of the marker. So we're going to do 2 single crochets, set it backwards, 2 single crochets, and then 2 together all the way around. And I have an extra stitch. So the next round is going to be 1 single crochet, 1 together. Those are 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 together, 1 single crochet, 2 together. Alright, so you can stick some more stuffing in. Give your head a better shape than that. So we are just going to close up this little gap here, which just decreases all the way around. And this round. Put your stitch marker in so you know where your first decrease was. So squeeze your head at the top so you can pull as tight as you can. So if you got an extra way to go like I do, you can either sew it shut, which I'm going to sew it shut anyway, but I want to go around and continue to do my decreases while I'm pulling tight. If you think you can shove some more stuffing in there, then by all means. So I'm just going to go around one more time, as many times as I can go around, and then probably just sew the rest up. Yeah, that's probably fine. So you can pretend you're fastening off. Pretend. But you're going to use this piece to get off. You're going to use this piece of yarn, so make sure you fasten off with a little bit of a tail, because you are going to sew the rest of this shut once you're satisfied with the stuffing. I mean, move the stuffing around, make sure you're satisfied, because even this little teeny tiny hole, actually I could probably still get some in there, but I don't really think I need it. But if this bounces back when you push on it, you probably have enough. So I'm just going to go through this stitch this way, through this stitch this way, like that, and one more before my knot. Sorry, my camera shut off at a very bad time. Anyway, I'm back to where I fastened off. So you can just pull and that'll close that right up like that. So then you can just weave your end in and around. Now keep in mind, there's going to be a cap on this for hair. So you can just start kind of going in and popping out in different directions to weave your end in. So there, almost done. The head does look big, but it will look different when the hair's on there and stuff like that. But got some fuzzies under there. So that is your angel so far, and I know I can't really fit it all into my camera as usual. None of mine can. So figure out what color you want your hair, and you're gonna have to get that color to make the wig cap, and then we'll make the hair. You're gonna need to make whatever color you're gonna choose for your hair. So mine's gonna be black. You're gonna make the wig cap that color. So the wig cap on this guy is brown. You can see it there. And that's because I got this up in a ponytail, but if this hair was down, then just so if you were to, oh, here's a good example. So you can see between the hair, if I didn't make a wig cap that was the same color as the hair, then you would see the gray right there. And that's why we make a wig cap. So I'll meet you back here after you've decided and we got all of our stuff, and I'll meet you right back here and we can get the wig cap done. Alright guys, so I got my black and I'm just using my 4mm hook. Now because I made this head bigger than my other angel, I'm gonna make the cap a bit bigger, but it's gonna kind of sit on the head like this. Oh, I just dropped my light, sorry. It's gonna kind of sit on the head like this, not right at the top. So, alright guys, so we're gonna start our wig cap. Use a number 5mm hook. You're gonna make a magic ring. And you put 6 single crochets inside that magic ring. You're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. Your next round, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in that stitch. You're going to put 2 single crochets in this stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochet in the next. So that's your repeat all the way around. Pretty squishy. Doesn't matter if you drop a stitch. That's not going to make a difference. So we're not going to worry about our numbers. Just head cap. Just a wig cap. So your next round, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Sorry, I was talking with the marker in my mouth. All right, so your next round, we're gonna go 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2. So that's one single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets in the same space, 1 1 2, all the way around. So our next increase is going to be 1 1 1 2, so 3 single crochets and an increase. So that's 1 2 3, and then 2 in the same space. So, if you get the idea of what's going on, so this guy here, you can just tie it in a knot. So your next row is just going to be a single crochet in each stitch around. So I have 54, which is about the size of the head in the first place, so, but it doesn't matter what your numbers are, you can't really screw it up. So I would say that's probably big enough. I'm just winging this as we go. I haven't written a pattern down. So I would say 5 more rows of single crochets. So I got my 5 rows done, and this is what it looks like. I know it's kind of hard to see. So that should just fit like a hat on your guy. So you can put it back like that for the hair. You can put it really close to the eyes for the hair. It's up to you. I generally like to leave a forehead. So I have mine back like this so that the hair can drape down a bit. So we'll just fasten off, and then we can sew that to the head. Do slip stitch, fasten off. It doesn't matter whether you cut that off or not, it's just going on the head. So I should probably have cut that off with the tail. I'm just going to use this needle. You're still going to want hidden stitches, you're not going to want them showing. So decide where you want it, and then you can come up underneath it through a stitch go through the slip stitch that you made so it makes a bit of a knot, and then pull really tight to make that small knot. So as long as you come down as close as you can to that cap and up through a stitch, you're not going to see the stitches you're making. Got some polyfill fiber there. This doesn't have to be a super well job. Keep checking to make sure it's straight. I'm going to speed this up. I'll meet you on the other side. So when you start coming around to the front, start going down behind your last stitch into the black, then into the doll, and then up. So you really want them hidden at this point for the front. The back, it doesn't so much matter because, do you see? The hair is going to be hanging down, but generally at the front, you don't have the hair hanging way down. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do. This is where I tied it, so I just want to make sure that that piece is stuck in there. A couple ways to do the hair, so curly and straight. I think I'm just going to do this hair straight because my aunt has straight black hair. But if you want yours curly, I'll show you how to do curly. So I'm back around to where I started. I'm just going to put an extra stitch in just for extra precaution, if I can get my needle in there. So I'm kind of doing stitches over stitches at this point. Fix the head now that you've distorted it and everything. So there's my cap. So it's kind of back further than the top of the head, but that's okay because that's how I want it. So while I have this piece of black here, I'll show you how to do the mouth. Just cut off a piece so I can tie a knot in this end. You're going to pull this, tie a double knot. You're going to pull this double knot into the doll, and it's going to get all tangled up in your filling. My double knot didn't quite work out, but so it's going to get all tangled up in your polyfill. So you can pretty much go in anywhere because you're going to be pulling it in. So I'm just going to come up to where I want the mouth to be. So you can make that decision on your own. Oh, I pulled too much. Didn't quite get tangled. So you come over here, put your thing down here, and bring your needle back out that same hole, like that, and then come up roughly, I know it's upside down, roughly the same spot. You want your mouth to be even. Come back up the same hole, and don't pull tight. So that's about how you do a mouth. And you can go back down and you can make your needle pop out somewhere. So that's roughly how you do a mouth. That's how I do my mouths anyway. So press down on that before you cut it. You can just shove that bit back up there. Press down, snip, and you can just use your scissors to press it down. And there's the smiley mouth. Now you can probably find better mouths than mine. I don't sew. I can't sew. So you could probably find better mouths than I just made on YouTube, I'm quite sure. So you're going to need next for your hair is some wooden dowels. The color that you're using, so I'm using black. You're going to need an oven because you're going to cook your hair. And I think that's about it. So I will meet you back here in a second. Okay, I got a mess going on here. So you're gonna need a rug hook. Well, you don't actually need one of these. I like my hair to be tied on in a knot to the head of the doll. So I use a rug hooking hook. So if you have one, that would be really great. You can buy these at Walmart fairly cheap. You don't have to buy the whole rug hooking kit, which are expensive. You can pick these up pretty cheap anywhere, Michael's, Walmart, any craft store. You're going to need a book to wrap the hair around. I need a bigger craft table. So I have a couple of different size dowels here. So this is hair that I've already made. I make hair a lot, even if I'm not making a doll. And then I just put it into a bag. So these tiny little ones, these are tiny little dowels. So I just take the yarn and I tie a knot, and then I wrap, and then I tie another knot. It doesn't have to be a neat wrap, it just has to be wrapped. And then in the oven, in the sink this goes, soak these so they're nice and soaking wet. Soak them for about 5 minutes just so the yarn and stuff soaks up a bunch of water. They have to be nice and wet. Then you put them in the oven at 250 for 40 minutes. And you get these curls. So I'm not doing curly hair on my doll, but you get these, and my hair in there too. So you get these curls for doing it that way. And then I'll show you how you use the book in this case. So that's how you cook your hair, 250 for 40 minutes in the oven after you've soaked it. Don't lay it flat on a tray. I actually show it in one of my videos. I think it's my unicorn amigurumi video. You don't actually lay it on a tray. You put a rack of some sort on the tray, because if this is laying on the tray, it's going to burn. Even at 250, it will burn. Even soaking wet, it will burn. And you don't want burnt hair. You just want cooked hair so it keeps its shape. So once you cook it, might be hard to see. Let me find my white table somewhere under all this. So you pull it out. You can stretch this out all you want. It will go back into shape after the cooking process. So pull this out. Now the black will dye your stick a little bit, but it won't transfer to another color like if you do another color. So once you get it all off the stick, you take your book, because it's a pretty long piece. Get rid of your knot there. So you take your book and you pull tight. So you're basically straightening it out again, which seems to defeat the purpose of curling it. But it will go back into shape, don't worry about that. So once you've got it wrapped around the book, you just take it all and you cut it. And then you've got your pieces of hair. So this is where it was knotted onto the piece of wood, so I just cut those pieces off. So that's how you get all these little curly pieces. So that's how you do curly hair. When you do the bigger dowels, just get everything out of the way here. So these bigger dowels, the hair comes out just wavy. It doesn't come out curly. It comes out in waves. So I'll use a few of them and then I'll just put straight. But you do this the same way. You unravel your big dowel and then you wrap it around a book. So it comes out looking like that. And it comes out long. Cut it. And then you've got your long pieces. And as you can see, they're not as wavy as they once were, but there's still some wave in there. But this is what I'm going to use for my angel because, well, I've already told you why. So I bought these dowels actually at a reuse it store. They're actually dowels that you use to make ladder rungs with. You know those ladders you can make for your home to hang towels on? Well, that's what these are for. So that's what, but I mean, you can buy every kind of size dowel at any home hardware store. Maybe not right now during a pandemic, but you know. So I'm gonna put the hair on after I do the wings. So get your hair, if you're doing curly, you can get your hair all wound and put in the sink and soaked and cooked, and I will meet you back here in a second, and while it's cooking we'll make the wings. So I'll meet you back here whenever you're ready. I'll put my pause screen up for you. So next we're going to be making the wings. And you're going to need to make two because we're going to stuff these. And then we're going to outline them. But this one here I did in the sparkly silver. These are very hard to sew on, so you may find an easier way to sew these on than I did, because I don't sew. But for this one, because she has a pink dress, I'm going to use this sparkly cake. So that's what it is. It's a Red Heart Super Saver. And it's just for outlining. That's all it's going to be used for. There it is. Pixie. So that's the name of the cake, is Pixie, to get these colors. I don't know where to put this. Alright, but we're going to start with white. So you're going to make 4 of these. And then, so I'll do one with you, and then I'll put the pattern on the screen. And then I'll finish mine, and then we'll all meet back here, and I'll show you what to do after that. So you're going to use your 5mm hook, just like we've been using, and you're just going to make a slip knot. Chain 18. You're going to single crochet 17 back up to the top. Pull your slip knot closed. You can chain 1, turn your work. You're going to single crochet 15. So you should have 2 stitches left. You're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work, and you're going to do it again, single crochet 15. Chain 1, turn your work, you're going to single crochet 13. Chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet 13. Chain 1, turn your work. Now you're going to single crochet 10. Chain 1, turn your work, and you guessed it, chain 1, turn your work. You get the idea what's going on. So we're going to crochet 8, single crochet, chain 1, turn your work, single crochet 8, chain 1, turn your work, changes up a bit here, single crochet 6, chain 1, turn your work. Now to go back this way, because we want to start rounding this off a little bit. There's a number of different ways you can do it. But this way I like, obviously. You're going to single crochet 1 in this hole. You're going to half double crochet into the next hole. The next 2 holes, you're going to put 1 double crochet in each. Next hole, you're going to put a half double crochet. The next hole, you're going to put 2 half double crochets. Now we'll turn to the side and trying to evenly space stuff out. So now you've already used this stitch. So going over here, you can put a double crochet. There's no rhyme or reason, you're just trying to space these out evenly. And put another double crochet. This hole here, and then these last 2, that's the ones I'm going to use, but you can space these out any way you want to. You're going to put a half double crochet here and a half double crochet in your next space. And then a single crochet into this space, and then 2 single crochets. So I'm just gonna keep it right on the corner here on that space. So it kind of rounds your wing out at the top. You see what I mean? Fasten off then here. So, I'll find my needle. Now keep in mind these are going to be sewn together, but we're not doing a right-handed, left-handed wing. The wings are all going to be the same, so you're going to have to use the back of one and the front of one, and then the same for, well, I mean all 4 of them are going to be the same. So we're not doing separate because you don't have to. I mean, eventually one's going to have to be at the back, one's going to have to be at the front, but it all looks great. So try to hide your things into your stitches. Be less noticeable that way. So I've left a little bump so I know that I need to put that on the inside, just so I don't screw up accidentally. So go ahead and make 3 more wings, and then we'll put them all together and we'll stuff them, and then we'll outline them with some of our sparkly stuff. So I'll meet you right back here after. Okie dokie, I've got all 4 of mine made. And I've got my 2 together that I'm putting together. So, I did have a beginning to this somewhere that I've lost now. So, I've got my pink out. It does call for a 5mm. So, I'm going to use a 5mm, but all I'm doing with this is crocheting the heart wings together. So it probably would have been easier had I single crocheted around the entire project. However, when you get to here, you kind of lose the definition. That's what happened with my other wings, is I lost a bit of definition, and then when I put this around it, then I completely lost the definition. So, I mean, not completely, I guess. So there's no stitches here, but we're just gonna have to just shove our needle in where we can get a needle in. I'm gonna use a number 4. So find a place to start that has stitches, just so you know that you're going stitch for stitch. So I think those 2 match up quite good. So you want to bring this through to connect it, and then go through the same space and actually make a single crochet. So just going along stitch for stitch like we do with a lot of our projects. I'm going to put 2 in this stitch just because it's a corner. And I've got kind of a long stitches here, so I think I'm just going to do 2 stitches in each of these ones too, because they're elongated from, you know, stretching them across. So I'm going to put 2 in each, just because aesthetically I think it'll look better. So I'm on a corner, and again, I think I'm just going to put a couple of stitches. So when I say go stitch for stitch, I mean obviously you can put 2 stitches in the same one. They just have to be across from each other. Oh, I'm not under something. Remember, we're still going to stuff this, so if you think your wings are thick enough or whatever and you don't want to stuff them, then you don't have to. They can just lay flat against the body, which will be fine. Mine kind of are really puffy. You could just put a little bit in. You don't have to put a lot in. You want to make sure you get right up into that corner. I think I'm going to put 2 up there. So here you're just kind of sticking your hook in wherever you can get your hook in. So there's no real rhyme or reason to what you're doing. Just wherever you can get it stuck into. So I'm going to do this with you until my camera dies, and then you're on your own until I meet you back here. So I've got a little opening left. of my little bit of stuffing in there. Oh, not putting a whole lot, but make sure it gets right down into that corner. So if you put too much, it's almost really difficult to sew this on. So this is a little time consuming, however, it looks absolutely gorgeous when you're done. And then you can just slip stitch right into that stitch and fasten it off. Don't worry about whether this is long or for sewing, or worry about that after. You can just get an extra piece. So you've got a couple of pieces you gotta hide. So now you just want to move the stuffing around because you want to push these baubles down here. Any little frilly pieces you can shave off of there. Just pieces from when you hid your stuff. So this side looks pretty craptastic, and this side looks nice. So when you do your other one, you're just going to have to make sure that you're holding it. So you're going to sew it onto the body like that. So you're going to make sure you hold this in the opposite direction, or you're going to get both sides that look craptastic like that. But you want both sides to look like this. So we held ours like this to sew it, and this one we're going to have to hold like this. So the opposite way. Understand? So these are not really easy to hide because you don't have much space to hide them. But you can just go weave in and out, and then just kind of go in and pop out somewhere, and then just cut that off. So just like you'd do with a doll. Alright, so I'm going to stick, making sure I get down into that hole. And you can just slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. Snip off whatever's popped out. So we're just going to move our stuffing around. So there are your two wings. So what I did with my other wings was I just took a piece of yarn and I whip stitched the two wings together before sewing them to the body, and that was actually quite difficult. So let's see if we can't find another way to do it. I should have made the wings off-white. I didn't even think about it. I just made them white. You would just certainly have to find the middle and decide how you're gonna stitch them on. Yeah, so I mean, once you find the middle, you kind of hold it in place while you sewed one end, but then it's going to be so hard to sew the other one. Alright, well, maybe I'll just, I can't get that out now. I'll do it like I did before. It was just very difficult to sew on, but what do, right? Some things are going to be quite difficult. So I'm going to take a piece of yarn and make a slip knot on the end of it so I can tie a knot with my needle. So I want to sew just the corners together and go in one of them first because I want to make a knot, and then I'm going to come across to the other side. So I'm going to kind of make a knot and pull all at the same time. So I think a whip stitch would probably work better, as close as you can get to a whip stitch. So a whip stitch generally is back loop to back loop, but considering what we're whip stitching, you can just go under all of them. It's really up to you how far down you go in your stitches, to how you want your wings on the back. So before we go any further with this, I want to just hide this somewhere. So this is the tricky part. It was tricky enough to do it before, but now I gotta do it on camera, so bear with me. You're gonna have to find the middle of the back. So somehow figure out where your center is. So I'm just gonna go down into the doll and I'm gonna just kind of pop out on the bottom here. So pull tight and keep that pulled tight. I'm gonna go up into the wing. I'm getting tangled on everything. Ah, crap. Keep in mind, I can't sew. I don't sew. So from there, I don't really want this to be noticeable. It feels tight, like it doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere, but at this point I need to make a knot because I need to knot this end. So I'm going to pull through slightly and then I'm going to stick my needle through there so I can make a knot, pull tight. So now just go into the doll and pop out wherever. So there's my wings. Not absolutely horrible. My sewing is improving. That's for sure. So I know it's hard to see. My camera's got a horrible... So they look somewhat even from the front. It's hard to see in there, but my head looks crooked. So not bad. We can get started on doing the hair. Your hair is probably ready and probably cut. I got some. I don't know if this will do the whole head, but so I'm not sure how I'm going to show you this because my camera is way too close. That might work. So I'm going to be using a rug hooking needle with this little flippy thing. So the reason we make a wig cap is because it would be way too much to go into every single hole, every single post, every single stitch. It would just be way too much. So we make a wig cap, so we fill in the majority of it, and any space it'll be black, so you're not even going to be able to tell. So for this, and I really wish I could zoom out, and it's black, so of course. So now I want mine a little bit longer. I want mine to be able to hang down. But if you're doing little curls, you would just hold it in half. You would put your yarn over, go into a post, let this little flippy thing go past the post, take your piece, wrap it both ends around. Now this flippy thing closes, which is what you want, and pull it through. And that ties it in a knot and attaches it quite nicely. And that is all you do. And then you just make your way around, going into either around every post or around every other post, or you know, because you got the black cap, so you don't have to hit every single hole. So I'm just gonna go around wherever I stick it in, and then I'll fill in after. And I think that one had a knot. So you're gonna have to make sure, which I just didn't do, but some of these have a knot from when you tied them to the stick. And I did not cut my knot off. So that's my bad. But you can just push that back down. It'll be fine. You won't pull it off the head if you've sewed it decently onto the head. So I'm going to put this in fast motion. I think I will leave a part. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I got the start of my head done. I got all of this left to do. And I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to fill it all in, and then I'll meet you back here after I give her, I'm going to have to probably give her a little bit of a haircut. We'll see how I feel about it. And I'll meet you back here and show off my angel to you. Well, I got all my hair done. So those big dowels gave me this wavy kind of a look. It does cover up the wings a bit, but I've kind of put a side part. And her hair. So there we have it. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.